Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to the end of the week. And it has been a week, hasn't it? So today I have a couple different things for you all. Hello, thank you for joining me. I do have some boxes to open to do an unboxing. Hey, Robin, how are you? Um, but then this is going to be kind of a combination um, unboxing, and then last week when I did my little catalog side chat, I said that I was going to try to start doing more of those just kind of chats on different topics. And so I'm going to be talking a little bit about needlepoint and my deep dive into needlepoint that I've kind of gone headfirst into the last couple of months, share what I've been learning and what I've been using and all that good stuff. So let me jump in with a couple of things. So this is kind of a random box that, well, not random, I knew it was coming, but it's a box that showed up that isn't actually supplies for the shop. So there's this brand new trade show happening in Chicago next month called H&H Americas. It was a big show in Europe, or it still is a big show in Europe, in Germany, but they're trying to do it now in the States. And I'm hopefully maybe thinking about actually going because it's been so long since I've been able to go to an in-person trade show. But anyway, this is the sample preview box from that show, and so I actually don't know what's in here, and I thought maybe you guys would like to open it with me and see what kinds of samples and goodies are in this box of what might be at this show next month. So here we've got a pack of peel and stick stitch embroidery patterns. This is something that I'm starting to see more and more designers do. There's actually a little sneak peek. I actually am about to add a bunch of these from a new designer that I discovered who's up in Canada. And so what these are is you stick these onto the fabric that you want to embroider. So there's no need to transfer the pattern. You don't have to trace it or use iron-on pens or anything. This kind of papery material sticks right onto your fabric, and then you stitch through it. And once you're done stitching, you submerge it in water, kind of gently rub it with your fingers, and then the sticky paper comes off. So it's a really easy way to get embroidery patterns onto the fabric of your choice. Specifically, if you like to decorate clothing, jackets, that kind of stuff, this is a really easy way to be able to do that. So it seems, like I said, I'm seeing more and more of these cute little packets come up. So that's what this is a little sample of that. This show is very yarn and knitting focused, so there's going to be lots of yarns in here. But because of all the fun stuff that I'm doing with needlepoint, and I'm playing with thicker threads, I'm actually really excited to have these. So these are some different yarns that are coming from Urban Girl Yarns in Virginia, and this is from For Better or Worsted, I think. That's a really pretty color. We've got some yarn sample cards in here. Let's see, what's this? Trailhead Yarns. This is a size 8 Tencel Pearl. Ooh, that'll be fun to play with. So Tencel is a fiber. This is made in Germany. The thread's made in Germany. I have used it when I was doing, when I was working with a floor loom. I did a weaving class right before the pandemic started, and unfortunately wasn't able to continue it because I don't have a floor loom. So Tencel is this really, we've never played with it before. It's this very soft, very strong fiber. It's escaping me what it is made of. But it looks like this is pearl cotton thread made of Tencel. So I'm going to have to look into that a bit more. That looks pretty cool. I've never heard of that before. All right. We've got some yarn bobbins from Katrinkles. If you're a knitter, you're probably pretty familiar with Katrinkles. They do some really cute looms and holders. This is a very pretty envelope with a wax seal. Let's see what's in here. I feel bad kind of breaking the wax seal. This is more yarn sample cards. That's what's in there. So these sample boxes are, it's a really fun way to get excited about trade shows and things that are coming up. So here is a very nice rustic fuzzy wool yarn. And here's another one in there. So I don't knit. I've had several friends try to teach me how to knit, and it just never stuck. So, but my daughter knits, so she's going to be very excited with all this stuff. These are hand-dyed yarns from Cowgirl Blues, and this is, I guess, a sample card of all of their different yarns that they do. Here's another. So again, very, very yarn heavy, knitting heavy, but I have, from looking at their exhibitor list, there's a lot of fabric folks going. Ooh, that's really pretty. Makes me wish I did knit. That's a very pretty hunk of yarn there. And it looks like the majority of what's left in here is, again, lots more yarn, really cute little bobbins of yarn samples. So I will be playing with some of this stuff. I also just really like these floss cards are really, really pretty. This is Yarn Vibes, and it's Irish yarn, which is super cool. So we'll see. I will keep you guys posted. If I do end up going to this show, I will definitely be posting lots and lots about that. At the very least, I'll be attending the online portion of it and seeing what's new out there. But it would be really nice to be able to go to a show in person again. All right, so here we've got a couple of quick boxes to pop open for you. This box is coming to us from Australia. It is the latest delivery from Kylie and the Machine. Their labels, so it's a restock of a couple of the labels that have been out of stock, but there's also some new stuff in here. They have been rolling out some new collections, some of their new special edition collections. So it's a restock of some of the favorites. These are the woven labels that you can add into quilts, clothing. You can put them onto the back of embroidery hoops. They're really fun. They just have really fun sayings. Like this one says one of a kind. There's the one that is everybody's favorite, the made with love and swear words is super duper popular. This is for clothing. It says this is the back, and you've got both the vertical and the horizontal version of it. This one says, yes, I made this. And then this is the new collection. I am going to be getting this listed today. So this is their new collaboration with Brooke Gosson. It's called Going Places, and this is a mega collection. So it actually has 18 labels in it, plus I think 3 stickers in there, like vinyl stickers. It's super duper duper cute. I don't want to pop one open, but the labels are just really whimsical, very colorful, bright. So be sure, if you like using the woven labels, to check the site out later this afternoon, and you will see those up there. All right. Here we have the rest of my pearl cotton order from Alison Glass. As I've mentioned a couple of times, Alison is in the process of moving up north, so her stock of pearl cotton and such she's trying to get ready for the move. So it's running a little low and a little slower, but here they are. These are her pearl cotton sets. This is Sun is in here. The Variegated Stars collection is in here. This is another box of Sun. Oops. Let's turn the Do Not Disturb on there so that you don't get all these weird notifications. And then there's a couple of colors, the 2119 and 2116, which are both yellow, like mustardy yellows. I think one is called number 2 pencil, that have been out of stock for a while. These are back. So you will see the Alison Glass up there really, really soon. And then this one is something that I've been waiting for about 6 months. So it's exciting to see it back. So what is in here is a back order of Aida cloth in black. So the black Aida cloth in sizes 14 and 16 count, I believe, are in here. I haven't been able to get black Aida in months and months and months. So I'm seeing the 14 and the 16. They're both in here, along with the antique blue in 18 counts and sea lily in 16 counts. So that's what's in here. So black Aida is finally back in stock and available again. All right, so there were a couple of other boxes that arrived this week that I opened, and this, what I'm about to show you, is not on the site right now, but hey, Melissa, how are you? But this is what I'm gonna be working on this afternoon, is getting this stuff listed, so you'll see this very, very soon. So this is a brand new company that I'm starting to stock called Studio Inktvis. I think I pronounced that right. They are from the Netherlands, and it is insanely adorable washi tape and stickers. So this is a cute little panda. This is bunnies and frogs, and what is probably my absolute favorite is the Frida llama. The Frida llama is also available as a vinyl sticker, because how stinking cute is that? Better getting to watch this. Yay, I'm glad you were able to make it. So these are brand new washi tapes that are just super stinking cute. And I'm gonna be getting all of these listed this afternoon. So you'll see all of these up in the shop very, very soon. Some awesome rainbows. If you're getting ready for Pride Month, there's lots and lots of rainbows. They are washi tape, but they are like stamps, and it's perforated and everything, so that you can add them. These are super cute. Again, rainbow unicorns, plants, and animals. They are super fun. Lots of new vinyl stickers as well. This chubby little panda, the punk rainbow unicorn, always late but worth the wait, which is kind of my motto, and just pretending to be organized. So that's the fun stuff. Oh, and then these are holographic rainbow sun catchers. I have one of these here on the window in the studio, and on a sunny day I have the cozy blue. All sorts of folks are making these, but I have the cozy blue lunar phases one on my window, and it's really pretty because when the sun, these windows over here are very, very, very sunny in the afternoon, and so when the sun hits it, it creates a prismatic rainbow all over the floor of the studio, and I love it. It makes me smile every time. And so that's what these are. You put these on your window, and it will create a rainbow across your room. So, and then it says follow your rainbow. It's really hard to see down there, but so these are all going to be in the shop this afternoon. You will see those. And then the other kind of big shop news before I jump into the needlepoint stuff is Memorial Day sale. There's 15% off all Sashiko supplies all weekend long until Monday night. So it's an automatic discount. You don't have to put in any codes. You'll see it when you check out. The discount will appear magically in your cart. So it's a great opportunity to stock up on Sashiko supplies. There was the rest of the Bebe Bold order arrived. The second box made its way here. So all of the Bebe Bold samplers are now restocked. I love this Christmas tree. I'm definitely going to be stitching this one up and turning it into a pillow. These are the newest Olympus samplers and kits. They're available as complete kits with all the thread and needles, as well as just the plain sampler. Last night was the final meeting, Zoom, of the Pocket Book Club that I did for the last few months, and one of the folks in there has finished this sampler, and it looks beautiful, beautiful. What's really cool about these samplers is that it's combining all three styles of sashiko. So it had, well, two of the styles of sashiko. It has moyozashi, hitomezashi, and kugurisashi. So the stitch and weave is what makes up the corners over here. You've got the one stitch hitomezashi, and then you've got some of the moyozashi, the stuff that you guys are more used to seeing on Instagram. They are amazing. Those kits look amazing. They are. I cannot wait. I'm forcing myself to finish the 2 Sashiko samplers that I have going right now before I can dive into these, but I actually can't wait to do some of these. There's 4 different designs, so you've got 15% off this weekend, so it's a great weekend to snag yourself some of these new Sashiko samplers, if that's what you like doing. All right, so let's jump in and talk a little bit about needlepoint. So needlepoint is something that is fairly new to me. If you have been around and watched these videos, I went to Paris a couple months ago. Why are new projects always better than the ones you're currently doing? Excellent question. I know. I mean, that is my constant problem, is being surrounded by all this amazing new stuff that comes in, and I just want to do it all. And I just don't stitch quite that fast. So it's hard. It's very, very hard to not jump into new projects all the time. So when I went to Paris, I did this textile tour. We went to a needlepoint store by her name. The designer's named Annie Bouquet, and I fell in love with her store. Absolutely fell in love with it. I've never done needlepoint before. I've done a lot of cross stitch. I've done a lot of hand embroidery, but I'd never actually done needlepoint. But I loved it, and so I bought some of her kits, and I actually just realized that I left the fractured heart that I've been working on, that I just finished this week. I left that at home, but you can see pictures of that up on my Instagram. So I did that. I just find it really relaxing. It's really meditative. It's really fun. I think it's just really fun to dive into something new that I haven't done before. And so I've been learning a lot about needlepoint the last couple of months. I bought several other kits while I was there. So I think this might be, well, I already started another one, but I want to do this one next too. So this is kind of one of her modern canvases. And this is done with, so the first one, I did the continental tent stitch, the basic needlepoint stitch, which is really like a half of a cross stitch. Instead of doing the complete X, you're just doing one. And that's what I did the whole first one on. Loved it. I fell in love with needlepoint during the first year of the pandemic. As someone who did embroidery, it's been amazing. Wonderful. I'm not alone. It really is. It's different. It's different, and it's a lot of fun. So this one is done with a gobeline stitch, which is a little bit different. And so I'm kind of learning and playing around with that. Needlepoint, what I'm discovering is you get to play with a lot of different kinds of thread. And as a bit of a thread addict, that is probably one of the things that I'm enjoying the most. This is a plied wool thread, very fine, fin d'Aubusson, I believe it's called. And so I'm using 3 strands of this in order to create these stitches. And it's just really fun. It's really, the wool is lovely to work with. It's very soft, and I love the colors. I absolutely love the colors. So that is one of the ones that I'm going to be working on. And then I also, while I was at her studio, I picked up this little unicorn, which just reminds me of kind of traditional tapestries, like what we saw at Versailles and stuff. So that's on the list to do. And then my daughter had picked out this one that she wants to do, and she's just about done with school and finally going to have some time. So I think she and I are going to sit and do some needlepointing this summer. So that's kind of where I began my journey with needlepoint, and then I've just kind of gone with it from there. And I've discovered a whole bunch of new, to me, needlepoint designers, and it's just a whole new world. There are painted canvases, and then there are printed canvases. All of Madame Bouquet's are hand painted by her. If you can see here on the edge of her canvases, these are all the paints. She's got her little studio above her shop, and that's where she paints them. And then she works with the thread company, and they will custom dye the threads to match the colors that she comes up with. So the hand painted canvases, they are expensive. They are definitely, that's been kind of a big surprise, a big learning experience in all of this. But I really started thinking about it as what you're buying is somebody's art. She hand painted this, she designed this. So the hand painted canvases are they're pricey. They are I've seen them for as much as like $300 or $400. And depending on the size, you know, they can be anywhere between like $20, $50, $75. But I think if you think of it as you're buying art, it makes a little bit more sense as to why. The other very cool thing about hand painted canvases is, so you are basically following the painted part here. That's your guide for where you stitch, and you're stitching over where the threads intersect on the canvas. So on a hand painted canvas, she is being mindful of exactly where you are going to be crossing and putting your stitches in. So the lines are a lot easier to see as to exactly where you're supposed to be stitching. And it still gets a little foggy for me anyway, because I'm so new to this, as to exactly like, should this be yellow? Should this be gray? I don't think it really matters. I just kind of did what felt right. But with the hand painted canvases, the lines where she draws are a lot more cognizant of the kind of stitching that you're going to be doing, versus the printed canvases, where those border areas, it's not as carefully done as the hand painted ones. So either way, this is the next project that I have just started, and it is this is a design by Emily Peacock. She is based out of England, and little known fact is that I used to be a flamenco dancer. I studied flamenco all throughout college, kept dancing into my 20s. When I was in Japan, that was a lot of what I did, was I taught flamenco, and that was great fun. So flamenco has a very big part of my heart, and when I saw this design of the flamenco dancer, I knew I needed to do this. So it's huge. It is 17 by 20, and so I have put it on I have created a stretcher bar set that is 17 by 10, because I stitch sitting down on my couch, and I couldn't finagle how my hands were going to make it if I put it on the full 20. So I'm going to do this part first, and then I'm going to move it and do the bottom half of it later, and that just felt like more manageable to me than putting it on the full 17 by 20 frame. Flamenco dancing, embroidery, wood design, is there anything you can't do? There are many things that I cannot do, but I used to dance a lot. I loved dancing, and injuries kind of got in the way of that, but it's something that I absolutely love, and I'll try to dig up some old pictures and maybe pop them in my stories to show you some of the old days. But so needlepoint canvases. So they are, from what I'm learning, is that there are different kinds of canvases. You're so sweet. Thank you, Melissa. You are too sweet. This one is it's not quite plastic. I actually don't know what this material is called, but the edges of it do fray. It's very stiff, so sewing it would be kind of tough. And so what a lot of folks use is tape, masking tape. There is the local needlepoint shop here in Chapel Hill called Chapel Hill Needlepoint, has this very adorable custom printed tape that they put on all their canvases. I am using washi tape. This one is with one of these brand new washi tapes that just came into the shop. But what I'm finding is that any of the thick washi tapes, the 20 to 25 millimeter wide ones, work really well on the edges of these canvases, and it just makes me smile every single time I look at it and I see little happy unicorns and rainbows staring back at me. So that's what I did to edge my canvas, is I put washi tape all along it, and that way it doesn't fray or unravel as I'm working on it. What it is on right now, is a new stand that I just got. I purchased this from Chapel Hill Needlepoint. This is called the Needlework System 4 stand. I get a lot of questions about embroidery stands, and I still have it. It's at home. I meant to grab it. I have one that I bought from Hawthorne. What are they called? It'll come to me. But anyway, it's a shop in England, and I bought it from them years and years ago. And it is a stand that you put kind of underneath your thigh so you can use it while you're working. Would you take the washi tape off when you're done? Also, how do let's see, not Hawthorne handmade, thank you. I lost the rest of your comment. Also, how do the needlepoint pieces get displayed once they're finished? Yes, I take the washi tape off when I'm done, and then how they're displayed. So the one that I just finished, the little heart, I'm actually going to take it back to Chapel Hill Needlepoint. They have finishers because I don't know what I'm doing and I don't want to mess it up. And so they are going to turn it into a little ornament for me. That's a whole new thing. I'm just learning how to do this, so finishing needlepoint is not something I can dive into right now. And then this big one, when I finish that, I'm going to take it to a framer and have it professionally framed. So, but from what I've been learning, you can turn needlepoint into all sorts of things: pillows, belts, bags. There are all these like boxes and wallets and key fobs and things that you can put your needlepoint into. So there's really quite a bit that you can do with needlepoint once you're finished with it. So this stand, the Hawthorne handmade stand, is a little wooden stand. I've used it, but I didn't love it. I didn't absolutely love it. Because folks have asked me if I sell stands, and I've just never found a stand that I really loved to be able to sell it, that I felt was really versatile and super helpful. Stands, I think, are super duper helpful, especially with knot work, like French knots, bouillon knots, all that kind of stuff are way, way easier if you have your hoop in a stand and you can use both hands at the same time. So because the canvases are so big and the stretcher bars and all this kind of stuff, I was having a lot of trouble holding it in my hand and stitching at the same time. And I'm starting to figure out this two-handed stitching method thing. So I really wanted a stand, and I've wanted to invest in a good one for a very long time. Did a lot of research, and I chose this one. And so far, I've only been using it. I just got it this week, so I've only been using it a couple days, and I absolutely love it. Love it. They're made in Florida, a brother and sister company. They came up with the design. It is so well made and it works so well, and you can tell that it was designed by someone that has been stitching for a long time and wanted to get it right and wanted a stand that worked really well. So it's all metal construction. The cool part is that this is their lap and table stand, and then they also do floor stands, they do a travel stand, and all the parts are interchangeable, which I think is really cool. So they have several different, this is their basic standard clamp holder, but they also have holders for Q-snaps, they have holders for scroll frames. They've got all sorts of different things, and they've got all sorts of attachments, like you can put a light and a holder and all sorts of things. I just went with the basic lap stand with the clamp holder. It's all metal, and then the way that they're, let me take this apart so I can show you. So one of the problems that I have with my wooden stand is that it doesn't always hold. It like loosens as I'm stitching, and then the hoop will kind of fall down, and it gets a little bit annoying. So they have this system where they have these grooves in the middle, and these teeth, it's the same exact thing where you attach it. So whatever position you tighten this on, those teeth keep it in place, and it does not move. Yesterday I sat and stitched for probably about 3 hours, and it did not move a millimeter. It stayed exactly where I put it. Same with the clamp up here. It didn't move, which I absolutely loved. The other feature of this that I think is fantastic is that it flips around, so you can get to the back of your work really easily to tie off your knots, tie off your threads. You don't have to take it out of the clamp. You just, and it actually, when the frame is in here, you can actually even do it one-handed, It flips very, very easily and smoothly, so you can tie off and then keep going. I will do a more in-depth kind of review of this once I've used it for a little bit longer. I want to do, because something that I was looking for was, because like this big plate, how does that work on your lap? It's actually very comfortable. It works very nicely on a table, but I don't really stitch at a table. Like I said, I tend to stitch sitting on my couch. So it is very comfortable, very sturdy. It gives me a nice place to be able to keep like my scissors and supplies handy. I really, 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 really am very happy with this stand. It is pricey. It's about $325, and they only sell them through local needlework shops. You can find a couple of them, a couple of shops that sell them online. But if you have a local needlework shop near you, and you want to take a look at it, that's what I did. I went to Chapel Hill Needlepoint. I looked at their floor model. I sat with it, played with it. And that's how I ended up deciding on it. But down the road, like I said, I'm going to keep playing with this and see what I think about them. But I am considering adding these to the shop because I really like them. It's like the first embroidery stand that I can honestly recommend to you all and say, this is really good. It actually works and does what I want it to do. So I'm excited to play with this more, and I will keep you guys posted on what I think. All right, so I had never worked with stretcher bars before either, because I always work in hoops. I've used Q-snaps a lot for cross stitch, but the stretcher bars was something new to me. So stretcher bars are they're very lightweight. They come in all sorts of sizes, and I do now have these in the shop from 5 inches to 12 inches, and they come with a set of 2. So you measure your canvas, and then you create your own frame out of whatever sizes that you need. So for that big one, I would have gotten, if I wanted to frame the whole entire thing at once, I would have gotten a 17 by 20. And then they have these slotted ends, and so you just put it together and create your frame. And then you put your canvas on here. This is not the right size, but you put your canvas on here, and then you use these brass tacks to tack it down. From what I had read, it's about every inch or so you put a tack in there, and it keeps your canvas stretched nice and tight as you're stitching. That way your canvas doesn't warp or anything while you're stitching. They're really nice because they're super duper light, and you could, with the smaller pieces, you can and you can work in hand too. You don't have to put them in a frame. I just found it, especially working on something that big, it was too big for my hands, and so I found it easier to have the frame. And like I said, I'm trying to figure out how to do the two-handed thing, so I needed both of my hands and couldn't have one holding it. So so that's what these are. That's what stretcher bars are. And the little thumbtacks, I have these in the shop now too as well. This little blue thing is a tack remover. So you slide it underneath and pull out your tacks when you want to take your canvas off of the frame. I mentioned these because this is what I used with the fractured heart. These are adjustable stand stretcher bars, and I really liked it. It's really handy, and actually that's what I'm going to take the heart off of my set of adjustable bars, and I'm going to pop this one in there. And so what these are is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of having to buy multiple sets of these, this will fit any canvas that is 12 inches by 12 inches or smaller, and then I also have a set that is 16 inches and anything smaller than that. And you can slide these little screws, go in these grooves, and you slide it around until you have the size that you need. So I just really liked that it's reusable. You can do it multiple sizes. That just kind of worked better for me. Okay, so what supplies, what tools, what things am I using? A lot of what I already have on hand: tapestry needles. Somebody did point me, I'm sorry that I'm blanking on who it was, but somebody had sent me an email a couple weeks ago asking if I had seen the Clover yarn threader, and I had not. So I went looking for it, and you can now find these in the shop. I have for years and years talked about the Clover embroidery needle threader, which is this one, which I absolutely love and I use all the time with sashiko thread, metallic threads, embroidery flosses, all that kind of stuff. I love it because it has this thicker piece, so it's not the filament style needle threader, so it doesn't break. I've had this for I don't even know how many years, and used it continuously. It has a little, oh here it is, sorry, it has a little protective cap to keep it nice and safe, but you just saw I have tossed it in there without its cap and it stays and it's great. But because of how many, because I'm using 3 different strands and it was just a little bit fluffy and it was getting kind of hard to get all of these in through the filament of the embroidery needle threader. So the yarn threader is super easy. It's this nice big hole in here. You put this through the eye of your needle, put your yarn through there, pull it through, works fantastic. So I'm using one of the Clover yarn threaders. And again, I now have these in the shop as well. Scissors. So with needlepoint, you do a waist knot, and you put the knot, I don't have a knot in there right now, you put it on the top of your canvas, and then as you're stitching, you secure that, your tail end with your stitches, and then you cut the little knot away. So having really sharp scissors to be able to get to that little knot and not cut any of the other thread or the canvas is super important. So my absolute all-time favorite Bowen mini soft touch scissors are perfect. If you've heard me talk about these before, I love them even more now. They're not true curved tip scissors, but they do have a slight curve to the very sharp tip of the scissors, which lets me get into right underneath that knot, snip it away. It works perfectly. So these are, I like the red ones. They have this kind of, they're called soft touch. I wouldn't say it's not exactly rubber, but they are very soft. So that's what the red ones are, but they do come in the plain silver as well. So both of those, I'm using that a lot. And then I got this trolley needle, which I am still very, very new with, and I haven't worked with a whole ton. Trying to get kind of used to it. But basically what this does is it helps, it's like a laying tool. It helps your thread lay flat as you're stitching, especially on the ones where I'm using the 3 layers. They tend to get kind of twisted as you're stitching. So this is to help get those to lay nice and flat and straight and smooth on the top of your canvas. So I do have, I don't think I've put these up on the shop yet, but I will have these up in the shop soon, and I'm going to keep playing with it and kind of try to get better at it and show you guys exactly how it works. But similar to the laying tool. So maybe in a couple of weeks I will do a demo of the trolley needle and a laying tool to give you an idea of how those work. So with the Flamenco Dancer canvas, I'm using tapestry wool instead of the kind of finer one that I showed you before. So this is all Anchor brand. This all came in a kit. I should actually show you what the whole kit. So well packaged. It actually comes with this great little bag to be able to store everything in here while I'm stitching, which I thought was super duper cute. It has a full color chart, which, because the canvas is printed, I'm just following, I'm not counting on the chart. It has some instructions on what to do, and then it came with 2 needles and this big old bag of yarn, of tapestry thread, sorry. So that's what I'm using. So this is a little bit different than the other one, and it's really fun. It's nice and chunky. It's got a nice feel to it. So I'm using some of the Pip and Chip bobbins to keep my thread on here. It works really well. This is her beehive ones, and the little slits here in the top, they fit the tapestry wool just perfectly. So I'm winding my, as the colors that I'm using, I'm winding them onto the little bobbins, and that's how I'm keeping my threads straight. So those are all the tools that I have been playing around with. And then because, like I said, I tend to dive head first, I have, of course, found several kits that I want to do. This is a kit from Maison Sajou, and this one is not a printed canvas. This one is a chart, so it's reminds me more of cross stitch. So I love tiles. I love like the Moroccan tiles, the Mexican tiles, and these were the Snuggly Monkey colors, and so I could not resist. So this one, it has the kit comes with the canvas, but obviously it's not printed, so I will follow the chart. And then this one uses the L'Ensemble, which I sell in sets here in the shop. I don't sell the individual cards, but I'm excited to stitch with this. So all the different colors from the chart are in here, and then it comes with your tapestry needle. And then this is a yarn threader, a very standard one, and it works the same exact way. So you put it through the eye of your needle, and that's how you thread your needle. So that's one kit. And then I did get another one of Emily Peacock's kits. This one is a super long banner or pillow. If I finish this one, I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like a nice happy couch pillow. But it says think happy thoughts, and it's very similar, has all of the thread that I need. This is not a printed canvas, so this is like the Sajou kit, that it is a chart that I'll have to follow along. But there you go. So that is that's what I'm up to these days, is I'm playing around with needlepoints. I want to thank Carol, who sent me some recommendations for needlepoint books, and I'm loving this one. This is one of the ones Carol recommended to me, the needlepoint book. It's fantastic. I have learned so much from here, even just from the intro section about the different canvases, the threads, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it also has obviously a big stitch dictionary in the back. So this one is really handy. Carol also recommended the Dictionary of Embroidery Stitches, which again is like a stitch dictionary with lots and lots of great both illustrations and photographs of different stitches. So that's very, very handy. This is the one that I've recommended and used for years and years, is the DK Embroidery Stitch Guide. This Stitch Guides is such a personal thing because it really has to do with how you learn best, and whether illustrations or images or YouTube videos, whatever way makes the most sense to you is definitely the way to go. But this one makes the most sense to my brain. So they have actual photographs, step by step, labeled on how to do all the different embroidery stitches. So this one has been with me for years and what I've been using for years. And all of these books are listed in my bookshop.org shop or list over there. If you head over to my Instagram profile and you scroll down to Claudia's book recommendations, you'll see all of these over there. Bookshop.org, if you're not familiar with it, is a independent bookshop network search engine. So anything you buy from bookshop.org is coming from an independent bookstore instead of the big A. And it's a great way to support local small bookshops. So if you wanted to take a closer look at any of these book recommendations or my favorite books for Sashiko, all that kind of stuff, all of that is listed on there. So feel free to take a look at that. And then totally unrelated to anything needlepoint or stitching, really. But I posted last week that I love to bake bread. I have for ages. But I had never done the no knead bread, which I know I'm late to the party because I know that was super duper popular during the pandemic. But I like kneading bread. I feel like it's it's a big stress release. But I did the no knead bread, fell in love with it. It was so good, so easy. I'm actually going to start another loaf tonight. And on that post, someone had recommended this book, the My Bread. And it is fantastic. So again, thank you to whoever it was that recommended this book to me. I got it, and I'm so excited because it takes the no knead bread basic recipe, and then it shows you how to turn that into pizzas and focaccias and ciabattas and all sorts of other yummy, yummy, delicious looking things. So I will be playing with this this weekend, I think, and we'll see some more. You'll probably see some more of these breads and whatnot in my stories. So that's just not related to stitching, but in case you also enjoy making bread, definitely give the no knead bread. And the recipe that I followed is Jim Leahy's. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but it's his recipe that it's the if you search for New York Times no knead bread, the recipe will come up, and that's the one that I followed. And it was insanely easy, the easiest loaf of bread I've ever made in my life, and it was incredibly delicious. Yeah, so there you go. That was a very much longer than I anticipated explanation of what I've been up to with needlepoint and such these days. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. If you haven't given needlepoint a try, I recommend it, especially if you've done cross stitch and you enjoy that. I've enjoyed cross stitch for the longest time. I just, because I stitch on my couch and I'm with my family, and with cross stitch, I have to count so carefully that I can't have anybody talking to me. And so I think that's what I really like about this, is that similar to Sashiko, like same meditative, you're doing the same stitch over and over kind of thing. But you don't have to count. You're just like filling in the color that's already on the canvas, and I love that. So there's lots of great modern needlepoint designers out there. I'm finding more and more of them every day, and my Instagram feed is just getting full of them. So I will try to remember to share some of my favorites that I've come across. There's one called Hedgehog Needlepoint, and she makes, which I'm dying to do, these vintage airport tags, like luggage tags, and I love them. I want to make a couple of those. And then she actually I think also sells the luggage tag that you can then like slip it into. Super duper cute. Go check those out if you like to travel. All right, everybody. There you go. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Happy Memorial Day. Take advantage of the Memorial Day sale in the shop this weekend. 15% off all Sashiko supplies. Automatic discount. You don't have to put in any codes. And I will see you all again next week, probably. Happy Memorial Day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.